Children dressed in their bright blue and white uniforms stream back into school at the end of their lunch break. They noisily make their way back into the classrooms. Sat at their small wooden desks, students listen to the teacher as she goes through a list of words carefully written in chalk on the blackboard.
Moreover. Remember. Text it.
This is how most children in Liberia are taught to read and write. The teacher says the word or the letter, and then the class repeats it. But 2 years ago, a brand new way of teaching was introduced in this West African country.
Every letter make a sound. F say, I say, SH say, and the word is fish.
In October 2008, the Early Grade Reading Assessment Plus study was launched in 180 schools. Funded by the US Agency for International Development, the pilot project covered 7 counties across Liberia.
It was quite an exciting experience and also challenging. It was scary in the beginning because the entire approach to teaching reading is new in Liberia. This approach is very new, and so it was actually scary.
Ollie White coordinated the program in Liberia for EGRA Plus.
We knew we had a problem in Liberia. Kids were not reading, but we didn't know how to solve that problem. And so with the coming of this program and the way in which it's focused, systematic, scripted lesson plans, and plus materials in the school, all these things actually helped to make EGRA a big success.
The project began by training the coaches, who in turn supervised and mentored the teachers in the classroom. Each teacher was provided with lesson plans for the entire year. Children were given reading materials, and the schools were given tools to assess the progress of the students. And the results speak for themselves. Improvements in oral reading fluency and reading comprehension at the end of the 2-year project increased by 230%. In fact, children from the schools which took part in the full EGRA Plus intervention programme learned the equivalent of 3 years schooling in a year compared to their peers.
It's huge for me. I wake up every morning, coming to the close of EGRA, especially when they started to send out the results. In the middle of the morning, very excited that I'm a part of what's happening. I see that there is future for my country.
Liberia has one of the lowest literacy rates in the world. In 2008, UNESCO recorded Liberia's total adult literacy rate at 58%, ranking it 100 out of the 115 countries that reported that year. 6 out of 10 men over the age of 15 can read and write. For women, it's just 5 out of 10. Literacy levels and education in general are crucial for any country to develop economically, especially in this rapidly changing technology-driven world. This is where EGRA Plus comes in.
We took a hook down to the brook to catch a fish that we can cook.
My name is Tony Bello. I'm 8 years old. I'm in my class in EGRA. It makes me know how to read and makes me know how to know phonics.
What is phonics?
For you to know how to call a letter name, for you to know how to know the letter sign.
So call us some more letters. What about T? What's the sound for T?
T.
And tell me the sound for CH.
Psh.
And what about the sound for SH?
Shh.
And the sound for F?
Standing before you, my name is Erica Chori. I'm 9 years old. My school name is CMFR, Christian Ministry Fellowship International Bible School in Turkey. The place I learned how to read in my school, my teacher teaching me and listening carefully. She asked me questions and answer.
One of the success stories of EGRA Plus is the huge improvement in the standard of reading among girls. They outweighed the boys in improvement by as much as 150%.
Well, we found overall, regardless of whether the coaches were male or female, there was a positive impact on girls learning to read in all of the full intervention schools.
Marsha Davidson was the reading instruction advisor for EGRA Plus.
One of the hypotheses about why that happened is that in this curriculum, we focus on selecting students to respond during instruction at random rather than children with their hands raised, so that there was more opportunity to select girls to participate and be engaged in the instruction than if you just, as a teacher, look at the hands raised and say in the front row of the classroom. And that's to a great advantage of young girls who might be sometimes a bit shy and not as easily willing to raise their hands.
The Ministry of Education is now encouraging other NGOs and private schools to adopt the teaching methods of EGRA Plus. All assessment material will be provided free of charge. The idea is to spread the success story across the country. For Deputy Education Minister Pangbai, it's about creating a new breed of students in years to come.
My assurance is it will be a high quality education system, one that is in the 21st century, one that affords our students know how to read and write and to compete with other kids around.
Although the EGRA Plus study has come to an end, USAID, along with the Ministry of Education in Liberia, has folded the lessons learned into its much larger Liberian teacher training programme. Early grade mathematics will be a new component, and the number of counties involved will be increased to 10 out of the 15. The expectation is that more than 2,000 schools will take part. For Ollie White, the coordinator of the EGRA Plus project, it's a huge step forward for the education system in her country.
I see a brighter future for the kids now that they are reading, because once we can tackle the issue, this huge reading gap found among our kids, there is hope for Liberia.
Every letter make a sound. F say, I say, S say, and the word is fish.